start doing it all. Right? We've kind of built up to this lesson right here. This is kind of what we've been building to in a lot of ways. So hopefully it all starts to click for you. And if you feel like maybe we've been going too fast, you gotta let me know so I can slow down. Or if you feel like this is a good pace, then let me know that too, because I want to figure out what's best for you guys, especially now that it looks like we're hybrid for at least another couple, that we're remote for at least another couple weeks. So, and we'll kind of go from there. So this one's about Boxplots, and you might have actually seen them before. I don't know if you've noticed them or realized what they were for, but they actually are on your Infinite Campus. I know they're on mine. It kind of shows me Boxplots and stuff and helps me visualize what's been going on. So the idea, Mr. Anderson coming on in, is that we've got things that look like this, okay? And so one of the other name for Boxplots is called box and whisker plots. So you see kind of the box here in the middle, and then you've got these whiskers that kind of come off on the ends. And then if we need them, we've got these little kind of points at the end, either before or after. And you might be able to kind of figure out what all of this means based on the stuff we've been doing these last couple lessons. This kind of first spot right here, so not this asterisk at the end, but this spot right here, that's going to be our minimum value. That's not an outlier. And I know, like, for now, we've been really trying to just say, okay, the lowest point's my minimum, the biggest point is my maximum. But now that we're talking about these outliers not really helping us see kind of, you know, the spread and the center of the data and all that kind of stuff, we're going to start kind of chopping those lowest points and highest points off if they are outliers. So this mark right here, this little spot right here, will be our minimum as long as it's not an outlier, okay? We'll connect the minimum to that first quartile, but we're gonna make that first quartile line a lot bigger. Okay, so it's gonna be kind of a little line here. We'll connect it, so that's kind of that whisker part. And then we'll draw this taller part of the rectangle. That'll be our first quartile. So here's Q1. The next line that we draw will be our median. No connection there. We'll just make a box around it. Then we'll have our quartile 3 at the end. Into the box there. And then the max will be that last part of the whisker, right? So box here in the middle, and then whiskers. We'll just put like a little up and down line, and I'll draw them with you. We'll do three together so you can see what it looks like. And then if you have any outliers, they'll exist just as little stars or little asterisks or little points or something like that, kind of outside. And so when we do the 5-number summary, we really want to start kind of separating the outliers from everybody else, okay? So that's kind of our plan, is I want to do stuff like that, okay? And since this is the first quartile and that's the third quartile, that distance right there, that'll be our IQR. So kind of like the wider the box, the bigger the inner quartile range, right? The longer the whiskers, right, the further away those minimums and maximums will be from those quartiles. And so just kind of by looking at it, you can see that even though the median's right over here, right, we've got kind of a small space between my minimum value and that median, but a much larger range between the median and the maximum. And that tells me that more of the data is way over here, right? And it's really nice to know. All right, do I have a lot of little numbers? Do I have a lot of big numbers? Is it kind of evenly spread apart? Does it kind of lean more towards one side or the other? Stuff like that really kind of, you start to visualize the stuff. And the more we practice with it, I think the easier it'll be to kind of just, seriously, like what I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of like turning and stepping back and looking at it and trying to get a better sense for what this kind of thing looks like. So what I want to be able to do with you guys as best I can is to help you draw these, at least for now, and then we can really start to analyze them. Okay, so that's what I want to do. All right, but before I do that, what I would like to do is just kind of break down some of the descriptions of what this all looks like. Okay, and so box plots are a really nice way to show the distribution, by having this one way that we're always going to do it. It's standardized. It's something that if I taught it to you, or Sigmund, or Lynch, or you went to a different high school in Colorado, or you went to a different high school in this country, or honestly around the world, they'll kind of do it the same way. And that's really nice because then I can take data, I can draw a box plot that goes with it, and we can really kind of analyze it all together. Okay, and it's based on that 5-number summary using our formula for outliers. So putting it all together finally. Okay, and you can see those box and whiskers is kind of just an informal way to describe it. I like saying box and whiskers more than box plots. But in our outliers, we'll have asterisks or a point or a star or however you want to draw it is cool. We make them pretty small, and there's going to be one like little asterisk for every single outlier. Okay, so if we do have those outliers, we're not going to count that as our minimum anymore. We're not going to count them as our maximum anymore when we draw our box plots. That's going to be really, really helpful in us kind of drawing this correctly and being able to actually mark off those outliers, because maybe we just want to drop those. Maybe I don't even care about that data, and I want to make that super, super obvious to whoever is looking at it. Okay. And so that's the idea. I just want to visualize stuff, because looking at the numbers, man, I'm just not great at that. I'm super visual as a learner, and as somebody that has kind of grown up, born in the 80s, grew up as a 90s kid, and then technology really started to explode then. I've kind of been built that way, right? And I've had to change and adapt that way. You guys, growing up when you did, you've always had this kind of visual, I think, this visual kind of understanding that if you can see it, you'll understand it better. So that's what I want to do. I want to build on that, okay? But take a look at these three, okay, before we actually draw anything out. Take a look at, so we've got 3 students, okay? Student A, and these are real. These are actual students. Student A, student B, and student C, okay? And there are 3 different students that both took the same tests. And so you can see that the box plot for this top one is exactly the same as the box plot for this one, same as the box plot for this one, okay? Same thing in that second row, okay? It's the same 2 tests, okay, that all 3 of these students took, okay? The minimums right here, okay? There's a first quartile, median, third quartile, maximum, okay? The little yellow dots that you can see, that represents that's student's actual grade that they got on that test, okay? So whatever like the lowest grade on the test was, highest grade, middle grade, right? If there were 100 people taking this test, there's like the lowest grade, there's the highest one, there's the grade number 50, right? Grade number 25 and grade number 75, okay? Test number 2 actually does have an outlier down here at the bottom. So you can see they just use a little X. Yeah, I don't care what you call it, little X, and this dot is actually right on top of that X. So you can try to figure out what's going on. And so what I want to hear from you guys, if you can notice anything, I would love to kind of see, is there something that you can tell about how student A did from test 1 to test 2, how student B did from test 1 to test 2, or how student C did from test 1 to test 2? Can you just, looking just at this visual, and the average is right here. There's the average kind of right in the middle. Unmute yourself if you have any thoughts as to what happened from student A or student B or student C, or more than just one of them, from one test to the other, based kind of on where that little yellow dot was on the first test compared to the second one.
Student A did better on test 2 than test 1.
It's actually the other way around. So their little yellow dot on test 1 is almost at the maximum. Whereas this one, it's kind of stuck between the median and the third quartile. Still pretty good. Like still, I think they did very well on both of these, but they got almost the maximum, if not the highest grade on that first test. But yeah, they definitely did the best overall, I think. Student A probably outperformed student B and student C overall because of how close to the end their point was. Anything else you notice about maybe student B or student C and how they did from one test to the other?
Student B did better on test 2 than test 1.
Way better, right? They were almost at the very, very bottom in that first test. And then, still not the maximum grade or even the median, but a huge jump, right? Huge jump in how they did from one test to the next. And that was actually, so this student, so these are real actual students from last year. This student was really struggling with kind of like good study habits early on. They just kind of walked into the class and they were just like, nah, whatever, I'm just gonna take this test. Never actually studied for this one. Realized that it destroyed their grade. So this is one of Ms. Sigmund's old students. Came in to see her and she said, I'll help you study. I'll get you a study guide, we'll review together. Huge jump in their grade from test 1 to test 2, for sure. What about student C?
He didn't do so good.
No, right. Did pretty good, not bad, right, on that first one, and then actually ended up getting the lowest grade on test number 2, but it had nothing to do with school. This person was actually going through some stuff outside of school that kind of pulled their focus away from math class, which happens all the time, right? We all go through our ups and downs in life, and this student actually went through some stuff. I'm not going to go into details because then it would kind of give you a sense of who it might have been if you know them. Maybe not, but they went through some stuff, right? And that second test, they just couldn't do it, right? And that's okay. Stuff like that happens. But seeing that box plot allows us to really kind of visualize, what's going on with you, and how did you do from one test to the other, but also how did you, compare to everybody else. On one test or the other. So, almost at the maximum, almost at the minimum, and kind of right down the middle, kind of gives us a sense for where they were. More towards the max, nice. A little bit, further down, and then, whoa, way at the bottom, something must have happened between here and here. And as teachers, it really gives us an opportunity to intervene at a time when maybe somebody needs that, right? So they're really, really helpful for us. And if I pulled up Infinite Campus right now and we looked at test grades or homework grades, or there are box plots everywhere that makes it so much easier. You guys made those connections really, really quickly about, okay, yeah, student A, pretty good. Student B made a really good improvement here, but then something happened with student C as they went from test 1 to test 2. And it's not always math, right? It's not always, oh, I didn't study or I did study, right? Sometimes other stuff's going on. So really, really helpful ideas, okay? All right, let's actually draw one of these. I think it would be really helpful to have just some sort of straight edge nearby, a ruler, edge of a credit card or a driver's license, or edge of a notebook or something like that, so that we can try to draw some straight lines, okay? And so I want to do these with you. This way we can make sure that, because we're probably drawing these together for the very first time, that you're not feeling like you're lost or confused. Now, if you get through 1 or 2 of these, and like, oh, I got this, no problem, go ahead, do it yourself. You don't have to wait for me. You can just mute me and go from there. But I did want to kind of build some of these with you so I can see. So I'm going to draw them up here. I can't draw straight lines because I'm like writing on top of the projector, so I'm going to do my best. But I just want to kind of give you a sense of how to draw these, okay? We don't need to draw them on a graph like this with this grid behind it, but it makes it really easy to draw those straight lines and make sure that we're kind of counting things off really well. So this is actually your data from the week 1 reflection where I asked you guys how many pairs of shoes you had. So let's see, and you can figure out where you fall compared to everybody else. And we'll just kind of look at what that data looks like, okay? So they did the 5-number summary for us. We've already done that, which is awesome. And we've already figured out that there are no outliers in this set. So we're not gonna have those asterisks at the beginning or at the end. We're just gonna have whisker, box, 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 and then whisker. And what I like to do is just kind of figure out if I wanna make this kind of pretty, and that's nice, right? I just wanna pick a line, kind of a visual middle of this space for me, because then I'll be able to kind of draw it really nicely. And so when I draw these box plots, I just kind of pick a middle in my mind, and I can just kind of come off on the side. So if I counted all these boxes, you would see that the middle would be kind of like right about there. And so that's not really like a line I need to draw. I know I'm like physically off the screen, but hopefully you guys can, if I can turn this so you can hear me talking. There we go. Like for me, I just want to know about where my middle is, because now I'm just going to use this line right here to kind of be the center of where I draw all of my things. And all I need to do right now is mark off my 5-number summary. Then I'll show you how to draw, okay? So my minimum is 2, okay? So I'm gonna go, okay, 0, 1, 2. I'm just gonna put just a small point right there, okay? Next one's 5.5. So if that's 5 and that's 6, I might as well just go halfway between, okay? Again, super small little point right there. I'm probably making it even bigger than I need to, because remember, these box plots, I'm just going to draw these vertical lines at those spots, okay? The median was 10, I'm just marking it off. Quartile 3 was 15, just marking it off. I'm just staying along that same middle line so I know where the middle is. And then maximum way over here was 28. Okay, again, I just put a dot at each of those spots, okay? Now, when I draw these box plots, remember that the line for my minimum and my maximum are shorter than the lines for my quartiles and my median. Okay, when I draw these, I want my box in the middle to be larger and my whiskers at the end to be a little bit smaller. And so what I like to do, now you can make these as big or as small as you want, but the way that I do it, if you want to do it my way, is once I figure out where my middle is, my whiskers go up and down 1 box. And my 3 points in the middle go up and down 2 boxes, okay? You can go 1 box up and down and 3 boxes up and down, or you can do 2 and 4 or whatever you want. For me, when I draw, and so I would break out a straight edge right here if I had a straight edge, and I would draw my, like kind of my minimum spot right here, up and down 1 box, okay? The same thing at the end for my max, okay? Up and down 1 box. Okay, those are the ends. Those are my whiskers. For the 3 points in the middle, and you see I did the beginning and the end first, just like we usually do with our 5-number summaries. Give me the lowest one, give me the highest one. For these, you can go as big or as small as you want, as long as it's bigger than what you just did. So if you want to go up 2 boxes and down 2 boxes, it would be about that big. Okay. If that's not enough of a difference for you, then go up and down 3 boxes or go up and down 4 boxes. I don't care. Make it as big as you want, as long as it's bigger than your min and your max. Okay. Same thing here in the middle. I'll go up and down 2 boxes. Up and down 2 boxes. And by marking off those 5 points first, it just makes it easier to draw this thing out. Okay. The box is in the middle. So again, straight edge, connect your tall lines together, across the top and across the bottom. And then connect your whiskers by drawing in the line in the middle. Here's where a straight edge would really come in handy, but this is actually a lot straighter than I thought it might be, and a grid line definitely helps that. Ta-da, there it is. There's your box plot. Okay, there's your box and whisker. If you feel like this box, you would want it to be just a little bit taller, then you go up and down 3 boxes. Maybe I'll do that with the next one. But that's it, okay? If we've got the 5-number summary and we know that there aren't any outliers, then we're good to go, okay? If we do have outliers, then we'll mark those with just some little asterisks. That's it, box plots, okay? 5 spots, line, box, 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 line. Cool. Awesome. I'll leave that for a second so you can finish that up. I just want to look at one quick thing here. Awesome. All right, let's do another one. So I'm gonna get rid of this, okay, so I can keep drawing my next one. Ta-da! There it is. Again, I just want to kind of find the middle somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle of whatever you've got in case it doesn't work out that way. If you want to draw your middle line up here, draw your middle line down there, that's okay. Maybe you're on this big piece of graph paper. Obviously, you've got these notes right here, so that makes it a whole bunch easier. But if you are just kind of drawing this yourself, you get to decide where you want the middle to be, okay? So let's do it again, okay? So there's our 5-number summary, good to go, okay? We have a nice scale that goes from 0 to 30, which is good because our min is 3 and our max is 20, perfect. And so what I like to do is just kind of choose a middle. Now, I don't have to draw a little line over here to do that. Really, all I have to do is place my first point. Because once I place that first point, I've kind of decided which of these lines is going to be my center. And so, okay, I'll just pick, I like this one. I'm going to try to pick the actual middle, make it look a little nicer. But there it is, right at 3, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I just put a little point right there just for now. And then I'll kind of draw that line up and down once I get there. Okay, Q1, 9 1/4. So I can't really draw it perfectly, but I can try to be as best I can. So there's 9 and there's 10. Well, I don't want to be halfway into that box because that's 9 1/2. I want to be 1/4 of the way into the box as best I can. So I'll put a point like right here-ish. Right? Don't stress trying to be exactly perfect, but do the best you can. Median at 13. Okay, so middle is 13. 16 for Q3. And then the maximum is 20. Good. All right, if you mark off those 5 points, that's where your box and whiskers are all going to lie. And I'll mess with the size here in case you want to see what it looks like to make it a little bit bigger, or and then judge for yourself whether you like that. So I like to go up and down 1 box for my whiskers. I'll do that again. So my minimum right there, up and down 1 box, maximum, up and down 1 box. And this time, just to see what it looks like, maybe we'll like it a little bit better, I'm gonna go up and down 3 boxes, just to make it a little bit bigger. Let's see if we like that. So up, now, because I'm not along a grid line, I really wanna make sure, like straight edge, make sure I try to draw this really straight. So there's 1, 2, 3, trying to really be up and down straight as I can, and then down, 1, 2, 3. Cool. And if that's the height that I chose for the box, then that's what I have to do for all of these. So up and down 3, right to there, up and down 3. And I think the biggest reason for making your middle pieces taller, right, longer than your whiskers is to really kind of highlight where the center of the data is. Because remember, the interquartile range is huge for us. So if I make Q1 and Q3 a certain height, and I make my minimum and my maximum either a little bit smaller or a whole lot smaller, it really kind of magnifies literally where the center of the data looks. Okay, so if you want to draw the box first, you can do that. So across the top there, connect those. Across the bottom there, connect those. Okay, no line down the middle. There's nothing really kind of drawing in that middle line when you're inside the box. It's only for the whiskers. I mean, think about it. There's a reason they're called whiskers, right? Think about cat's whiskers. Okay, I kind of like that one a little bit better. I don't know. I like the height of that one better than I like the height of the first one. So I might stick with that. I might go 1 box for my min and max, and then 3 boxes for my Q1, Q3, and then the median in between. There you go. Nice and simple. Okay, nothing too crazy. I'll leave that for a second so you can copy that down. How are we feeling? Pretty easy? Pretty good? Awesome. Stop me if you need anything. Otherwise, I'm going to just fly through these last 2, and we'll be done. Okay? Because now that we got the hang of it, hopefully, we're feeling pretty good. let me get rid of this. Voila. I'm gonna switch colors just because why not? Let's go purple. Yeah, let's do that. Purple looks good. Okay. No scale here though. So we got to see what we're working with to see if it fits. And what you can tell, hopefully, is that this box and this box, let's see if they're actually the same size. Because sometimes they'll scale the bottom for us, and sometimes they won't. So that's what I want to look at. Let's see how many boxes we got. You don't have to count yourself. You can just count along with me. Let's see. 0 is a good place to start. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 30, just like the last one. But that's a problem because my maximum is at 35. So I can't go by ones. So what do you think? What should we count every spot by instead? If this is 0, gotta start at 0. What do you think we should count by?
5s.
5s could work, yeah. Now, if we went by 5s, so 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 would be right here. And then we've got all of this wasted space. So it would work, but then our box might be really, really small. And it might be a little bit harder to get a good visualization of what we're looking at if we make our space that we're drawing in super, super tiny. Right? So I want to kind of maximize the space I'm working in. So 1's too small, 5 might be too big. What do you think? Other idea?
2s.
Let's go by 2s. I think that'll work because 2s should get me there, because if that's 30 by 1s, then it's 60 by 2s. Okay. Now, how often you mark off down here is up to you, right? Last time we went 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. If you want to really put 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 all the way through, seems like a lot. I might go, I don't know, like every other or every third, or like go up by 10s or something like that, just to give myself a little less work to have to do. So if I went every other, so 0, okay, skip it, 4, skip it, 8, skip it, 12, skip it, 16, skip it, 20, 24, 28, 32, and then 36. I can stop right there because my biggest is 35.
Did you miss 18?
How'd I do?
You miss 18?
So I skipped it. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So it's there. I'm just not writing it down. This way I don't have like a ton of numbers across the bottom. I could have gone like 0, skip, 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 10. Like I could just make every 5 boxes 10, and it'll kind of be the same scale. So however you want to write that down, I just thought this would be nice. Because if I'm trying to find like 10.5 or 17.5 or some of these weird numbers in between, the more detailed my scale is, probably the easier it is to mark stuff off. So I'm going to go with that scale for now. We'll see if that works for us. And then I'm just going to drop my 5 numbers in there. I'm going to pick a middle. So this looks like a decent middle line. 1 is, all right, so if that's 0, then that's 2. So 1 is halfway. So I have a point right there between 0 and 2. 10.5. Okay, so 8, 10, and then 12. So just a little past a 10. It's about 10.5. 17.5. Okay, so 16, 18. All right, so a little bit before 18. So like right there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to be either like in the right box or on the right grid line. And then 24.25. So just barely after the 24. And then 35, okay, 34, 36, so 35 is halfway in between. The more accurate I am, the better it's just going to look, okay? All right, I always start with my beginnings and my ends. Let's go up and down one again. I kind of like that. Up and down 1 for the min, up and down 1 for the max. Again, no outliers that we have to deal with today. We'll deal with some outliers, Monday? Now let's just see what it looks like to go up and down 4. Maybe that's too big, but we'll find out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's the height that I'm going to go with. Just to mix it up, see if I like it. Why not? Variety is the spice of life. Cool, nice. And because I picked a good center, I could do that. I could go up and down 4. Across the top, across the bottom. For the box, should be really all along that grid line. Shouldn't have come up like that. And then whiskers. Connects min to Q1 and Q3 to max. Now, I know we've got some empty space there at the end, but I think we did a pretty good job. I don't want to, like, going by decimals can be kind of tricky. You know, every box being worth 1 was too little, maybe 2 is too much. Like going by 1.5, it might be kind of a pain to keep track of that. So that's up to you. If you have the freedom to choose your own scale, then pick whichever one you like the most. But picking one that kind of maximizes your space, always a good idea. Sweet, I think there's only one more. Let's do it, and then we're done. Oh, did we do it? Ah, look at that. I thought that there was a C, there isn't. We're done, voila, bam, good to go. All right, so that's Boxplots, basic Boxplot stuff. Drop this up on Canvas, take some pictures of your work. And I will see you Monday. Tomorrow we have a little reflection. As always, we can collect some data, and I really just kind of want to see how this week went, because I know we've been doing a lot. I feel like we've been doing a lot. I don't know. I feel like we've been getting a lot out of these classes, but we're going kind of quick, in my opinion. And I want to see how you feel about that. So check tomorrow for that same kind of Canvas quiz reflection for week 3. Amazing. We've done 3 weeks already. Crazy. And have a great weekend, and I will see you guys Monday.
Thanks, Rosie.
Love you guys. See
Thanks, Rosengren.
Thanks, Mr. Rosengren. Peace out.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Rosie.